Thank you. So Monica, first question I have is white belt is about starting over in a very public way and just in a different type of arena. When do you remember the exact moment where you were just saying, you know what, I need something new. I need to try something different.
Yeah, so me and my husband moved back to US after pandemic to New York, and kind of after going to art school and having my child went back to work in the fashion industry. And I had a bit of a, I mean, that's a big word, but I did have a bit of identity crisis where I didn't feel proud anymore of all my achievements in fashion industry. I felt like there's much more to me than just that. But I didn't know where to find that confidence. So it happens that in 2024, beginning of 2024, I was also turning 30. So I felt this would be a good moment to do a personal challenge that will help me rebuild that confidence. So that's how it all started.
And you were in the fashion industry very, very young. So you achieved fame and all the glitz and the glamour. So you pretty much have seen it all. Were you nervous going into jiu-jitsu? Because this is obviously two different fields and two different elements.
I was nervous, same as I was when I was 13 when I first came, to a modeling agency and started my journey there. But I think I needed that. I think that's kind of what I was craving. I need a bit of a new start and a rebuilding process. And I was lucky to find some of the best people to teach me and guide me through this world. So I had Gregor Gracie from the Gracie family, who basically are the masters of Jiu-Jitsu, the starting family from Brazil. So he was kind enough to train me for 8 months with his team in Brooklyn. So I, that there was no better way in than that.
And could you describe, while we're on the topic of Gregor Gracie, can you describe what the training was? What they had you do training wise? Was it something that you were just like, oh my God, this is going to be such a challenge? Like, is it like 100 push-ups, running, and a lot of stretches and
You know what? I do come from sports. I
mm,
grew up in a very sporty family. Both of my parents basically met through track and field. My sister is an Olympian in triple jump. So, I have the bones for sports, and it's always been part of my life. And even for modeling, it's been so useful, to stay in shape. And especially when I was working with Victoria's Secret, I was always training. I always say that models who especially do like laundry, we're basically, sorry, doing underwear work. I'm thinking of my mom. My mom brain said laundry to you. Um, we're trained pretty much like athletes sometimes in those periods. So I think the conditioning more or less was there, but definitely there was a new parts of body that I was using, a new muscle building that was happening, but it was all happening through repetition. So I would go in to the classes from the beginner classes, and later I was led into a little bit more advanced classes. But because I had that, let's say, a bit of a, special approach, they knew that I want to do 8 months and go into the biggest competition in the world. So I feel like I had to advance more. So I was spending a lot of time at that gym for sure.
and let's talk about the documentary White Belt because I loved it because I love like the overall theme of just really going for it, going for it, and just it felt like me when I was watching. It was like the fashion industry was like kind of a cage for you at one point, and you just had to just really break away. How did the documentary come about of you wanting to tell your story?
I mean, it really came from, the director of the film is my husband. So, the idea of filming the whole process and the competition and then adding more interviews to it was him. Like he was the person who said to me, "This is worth capturing. This is going to be great for you. I see this going places." And to be honest, I didn't really want to have a camera in my face when I'm going on that mat in Las Vegas. So I was kind of fighting back a little bit with him. But I'm so glad that we did it, that we captured that all, because while filming it, I think that's when the process of realizing why I'm doing this happened. I don't think that the 8 months was leading up to it. but the interviews and how the film all came together is a sequence of me saying, reclaiming my power, building myself again, starting new, proving myself something, and this and that. And I don't think I ever said it out loud until we started doing the interviews. So, yeah, once I saw the first cut of the film, that's when I was like, oh, okay, that's what I was doing. That's amazing.
And was working with your husband more easier to be able to open up as you did in the documentary, or was it harder?
There's two layers to it, right? On
Mhm.
one side, I think I wouldn't be able to be that open and so truthful with anybody else. But on the other, working together is not easy when you're so close together. We have a child together, we have a life together, we make this film, and then we go back home and have our regular life. And then we have to do post-production and other things. Filmmaking is a lot.
Yeah,
As I'm sure you know, if you're in film industry, it's not easy to make a film.
no, it's not.
So yeah, I live with the creative who does it, so I understand the process. But like I said, it was a blessing that he was the one doing it. I would never do it otherwise. I would never agree to do it with anybody else.
And a lot of people know you as Jack the model, but when people leave this film, do you hope that they see and understand Monica more?
Yeah, I think so. It's funny because I think like 10 years ago or so, if somebody called me Monica in a public place or at work, I'll be like, how dare you? That's what my mom calls me. It was like such a two different people. There was the public Jack who was doing the modeling, and that was her world. And Monica for a while was still going to high school and like having her growing up her regular life. Then it became the mom and my personal life. And now I think the two merge, and this film is definitely about that.
And the documentary is focused about you reclaiming part of your aspect of your life because you grew up pretty much a child model, child star, teenage model, and now you have your like you said, you have your family, you have your husband, you have your daughter now. And I love the fact that a lot of this was the lessons that your daughter can actually rewatch this as she gets older and she can just see, hey, this was my mom, and she's leaving me these lessons. And my question with that is, what do you feel that you have reclaimed throughout this whole journey?
Um, I reclaimed confidence that I think wasn't actually really there. So I don't know if I can call it reclaiming, but
Mm.
I built something that was not based on anybody else's opinions and anybody else's expectations. I put an expectation on myself and I completed it, and it made me a little bit more aware of who I am and where I want to go in my life. Where I feel like a lot of the years of my life, even my grown-up life, I mean teenage years, but then my grown-up life, like I always say, the wind was blowing me in different places, and it was mostly my
Mhm.
agents calling me and telling me which airplane I have to jump on, and I was always creative vision of somebody else, right? So there was very little that I was in charge of in that sense. It gave me the amazing freedom, and I would not be here and talking to you if it wasn't for all that happened to me. But at the same time, in 2024, I sat down with myself and was like, I'm kind of angry that I never made those decisions for myself. That was always other people. So the reclaiming came from that, from making decision for myself first.
And my final question will be, what do you hope women in general, just not just women, because everyone could watch this and go, you know what, I might want to just take that risk or just jump into it. What do you hope people take from the film?
Exactly that, what you said, that we have nothing to lose, and life is too short to just follow one path and be scared of trying something new. Um, and I'm like the last person. I'm the safest person. I save my money. I don't really take risk in my life. But I think it's amazing, especially like in today's world, there's so many opportunities, so many things to try. And like I encourage anybody to just follow their dream and do whatever they feel like. Nobody's holding you off.
That's so true. Thank you, Monica. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you, Justin.